playing around with his locks. So his antennas to Yahuah, as he calls them. And I am here also froed out. So with that being said, um, I wanna I wanna open up the floor with something interesting. Recently, someone that doesn't know me at all um, were trying to get me interested in joining their sorority. And on the inside, I was laughing. I was like, they have no idea who they're talking to. I thought it was so funny. And but you know what? I use wisdom. I didn't say anything. I listened. And she's African American, by the way. Those of you that are listening, I'm not going to say what the sorority is, but I did share with her that I knew other women in sororities, and I said and then she mentioned, yeah, I don't know where people getting this. What we do is not about. She said God, but I know she was referring to the Most High in her ignorance, and I said, well, what made you say that? And she said, well, there was a young lady that was in our sorority and she left. She denounced it. I said, do you know why she denounced it? She said, I honestly don't know why she denounced it. I said, maybe you should call her and ask her why. So I figured I would, because I can tell, and as believers in the Most High, as the Nazarim, which we are, Yashar'al, we have to use wisdom, even as my brother Prophet Wamungo has said, Nabi Wamungo has said, is that we have to use wisdom when we're talking to people. The goal is to win the battle and not the war. Okay. Mm-hmm. So we have to be really careful when we're talking to people. I think the person that was talking to me meant well. And I think a lot of people that are in sororities and fraternities known as the Divine Nine. So for those that are tuning in, the Divine Nine are people that are Black, usually at HBCUs or outside of HBCUs. You have graduate chapters, people that have already graduated from school, people are joining as well. And so what we're going to talk about today is the Masonic orders and how the Masonic orders, Freemasonry, sororities and fraternities, specifically with the D9s, do and how they are all intertwined, whether we realize it or not. So I have talked to African American men here in the U.S., and they'll say, oh, well, you're talking about Freemason. Yeah, that Freemason stuff, that's demonic. I'm a Mason. I'm a Prince Hall Mason. There's a difference. And I'm like, what's the difference? Like, what's the difference between being a Freemason and being a Prince Hall Mason? And there are other Black Masonic lodges, but I just said Prince Hall because that's the most popular one that you hear about, especially in Chicago. From my understanding, Prophet, is that Freemasons, the difference is that they were able to go anywhere they wanted to go, whereas Black people in the U.S. that joined, they call themselves Masons, not Freemasons. There's a difference. So with the Freemasons, you typically are going to see Caucasian people involved in it. With the Masons, such as Prince Hall, they talk about Prince Hall being, once he got free, he started his own thing. And when I listen to people talk about it, in my mind, I'm like, does this person realize how crazy they sound? That's what I'm thinking. I don't say it. I know people that are going to watch this podcast. They're going to be like, oh, that's what you think. But no, I really do think to myself, and these people, the majority of the Black people that I have met, notice I said that I have met, that are Prince Hall Masons, they're in the Masons, they're in the Divine Nine, whether it's a sorority or fraternity. Most of them are in church. Many of them are pastors. Many of them are bishops of very large congregations. And it's almost like it gives that person a license to say, see, Pastor so-and-so, Bishop so-and-so is in it. And I know he's a man of God. And I know that he's, you looking like this. I'm telling you what's going on here in America. I'm not going to use this podcast to name people, but there's a pastor that is, he's people call him more of a motivational speaker than a pastor, but he is a pastor. He has a large following, and I'm not going to name him. Some of you are going to know who I'm talking about. And he's been in the pulpit with his Greek letter sweater on, with the whole regalia on of what he's into, and I've even seen him do podcasts where he's interviewing other Masons, and they're talking about then the people who are denouncing, they never was one of us, or the people that are denouncing, we should have vetted them out better. These I'm talking about in the church. You can easily, people that are listening, you can easily go on YouTube and see who I'm talking about. You may be saying, why don't you just say his name? I don't want to. I don't want to because he may be my brother. He may be my brother. He may become my brother one day. And I don't want to tarnish him because I do think that this brother is sharp. He's very intelligent. And it's not up to me to say if he's saved or not, as people in America like to say. I know we shouldn't say that as Nazarene. But anyway, I said a whole lot. Prophet, let's talk about the origin. See, I just gave you a synopsis of in America. We got Freemasons, which are mostly Caucasian people. We got Masons, which are Black people who follow the whole Prince Hall concept, and will get violently upset with you if you say anything to them, especially if you're not a part of the thing. You got your Eastern Stars and the Divine Nine, and even the white fraternities and sororities, which the Divine Nine have built themselves on the same groundwork, same foundation. They will get upset with you and say, you don't know what you're talking about. Some of them even threaten people physically if you talk about it. Pastor, I'm sorry, Prophet, we're in your hands. Where is the origin of the Masonic order come from? Where does it come from?
Yeah, shalom. Thank you for it's really beautiful. I like to listen to it like all night. Yeah, it gives us the foundation of these things. Yeah, Freemason and Masonry began all in the Black Country, which is Africa. This is where it all began. And before we had Masons, like they're saying now, they're differentiating it. And I'm feeling that the beginning is now the end. Like what the Bible prophesied, that whatever happened in the beginning must happen to the end. So it means for sure we are heading towards the end. That's also a sign, a great sign that we are moving towards the end of era, the end of time. So in the beginning, what happened? The first world was destroyed by floods. When people became corrupt, they corrupted animals, they corrupted everything, the Nephilims, the sons of the fallen Malachim angels. There were 200 in numbers, the fallen angels. The reason why I want to talk about the first world is because this cult, all these cults that you see around, are divided in 200 stages. 200 stages represent the 200 fallen Malachim. So that is the beginning. I'm talking about the beginning. When the angels, the Malachim, the angels, decided to be like human beings, they cast their nature. After casting their nature, they converted into human being. Casting their nature means they must blaspheme against Yahuah, who gave them the nature. But at that time, the Malachim had the, the free will to choose what they want to be. They were not restricted. Yahuah gave them the authority to choose, the power to choose. They can choose to be anything. They were given the ability because Yahuah wanted to trust them as his sons. who can take care of his business when he's not around. So they were trusted in teaching human beings about civilization, about art, about fire, about war, everything that could help man live a better life. One, because after the fall of man became foolish because the spirit of Yahuwah left man. So when he left man, it also left with intelligence. So they were empty, it's like a baby. They were born again. So it's like a baby who has been brought to the world. There's nothing they know. All they know is maybe to eat. They can't even eat. They can drink milk. They know how to suck milk and maybe to cry. That's the only thing they can do. So that's typically what the human beings were doing at that time. Because the glory of Yahuwah had left them. So they were helpless. They knew nothing. So these 200 Malakim were sent on earth. Aratis. So they're sent on earth to take care of human beings, to protect them against the wills of the enemy, because Lucifer had already fallen, plus his company. So they were somewhere, some of them were jailed, somewhere, I don't know. The world was already in a terrible state. The man has fallen, the fallen Malakim are also down here. So it was crazy. So these 200 Malakim was sent on earth to take care of man, to protect them, to teach them, and to nurture them, and to mentor them, so that they can become people, because they were empty. So when they came, they corrupted their nature, and they became human beings. They became very handsome human beings. And they had sexual intercourse with the women. Then they gave birth to Nephilims. And Nephilims, when they come, they destroyed the earth, literally, because they were doing very ungodly things. They were human beings who were angelic, a fallen angelic in a human being flesh. So they were very terrible, super intelligent, super handsome, super powerful. And they saw human beings as trash. So they enslaved human beings. And that's when human beings cried. And the cry of the human beings reached the throne of Yahuwah. It was so painful for them. They could not bear it. Yahuwah now sent. He sent Noah. He sent Noah to the earth so that he may pronounce the final basora, the final message to them, to give them a last chance. Those who have been corrupted, those who have been rebellious, they were given one last chance so that they can become people. So this fallen Malakim, there were 200. When they were cast out, they brought what they call negative energy to human beings. They began to teach human beings, things that they were not supposed to learn, like war. They teach them about makeups. They taught them about witchcraft, how to summon the spirit of the dead people, how to read the stars of people and steal them for their own benefit. Somebody can steal your star. Every person is born with a star. And that's why people excel in different areas. You'll find somebody who's an athlete is better athlete. Somebody is a singer is better singer. Somebody is a mason, for example, a builder, is a better builder, is very talented. Some of them are better soldiers. So there is a star that everybody was given for them to survive on this earth and make a difference. It means all of us in billions we are so unique. Everybody has their own star at their own capacity. It means everybody has a purpose on this earth. We are so many, but yes, my capacity, my gift is needed. Your gift is also needed. There's something I have, but what you have, I don't have. So I need yours, and you need mine. So we do exchange, and that's how we survive. We do trade. I give you what you don't have. I get what I don't have. So we become dependable on one another. So the fallen Malakim didn't want fairness. They wanted to enslave people because that is their nature. They become corrupt. So greed and envy became the center stage of their lives. So what did they do? They began to teach human beings what is within them. You can only give what you have. So inside them was full of hate because they've been cast out. And then they already corrupted their nature. So they couldn't go back to their original dwelling place. When they became human beings, Definitely, they were human beings, but they were not just human beings. They were angelic human beings, Malakim, who have rebelled. It means they are human beings who are extremely intelligent and extremely wicked. But they missed something. Malakim are not supposed to live on earth. This is not their dwelling place. They come here for an assignment and they go back. The place where they feel fulfilled, according to their nature, it's the presence of Yahuah in the Shamahim, that is the heavens. That is the places where they can dwell. So some of them are in the first heaven, the second Shamahim, the third Shamahim, up to the 12th. So they're scattered all over, doing different assignments. So when they come on earth, they come for a mission and they go back. That's how they were created to be. But now, after doing whatever the mission they wanted to do, corrupting human beings, they could not go back to where they're supposed to go. Because after the mission, you have to go somewhere. Now, Yahuah created two places. Now, there's a place you can go in his presence if you're righteous. And there's a place when you corrupt your nature, like the fallen Malakim, there's only one place you can go. And that is eternal damnation, Gehenna. So these people are avoiding Gehenna because they know the only place they can go if they don't enter Shamahim, they have to go to Gehenna. So the trick they did, they tried to be clever and they said, now we have to use the shortcut to go back to where we are supposed to go. So I don't know what they're going to do, and they were not in good terms with Yahuah. So I was wondering, what are they going to do? Are they going to cause another war? Because they're no longer welcome. So, or they were assuming that when they enter the presence of Yahuah, Yahuah will just forgive them because it's loving and kind. I think they didn't think smart. So they were trying to send people to petition for them. One of them, the first one was Chanuk, whom the people are calling Enoch. So Chanuk was the first Nabi. So they sent Nabi because Chanuk had a way of going to the heavens, to the Shamahim, and he knew every place. And every place he went, there was communication with the Most High, because the Most High gave him the access. He was a physical human being who went to the spiritual spiritual world. It is impossible for a physical being to be in the spiritual place because that is a place of spirituality. But Enoch did that. And later Yahusha also did that. Yahusha died and resurrected with this body and went there physically. So we have one special person in Shamahim called Yahusha, who is physical and spiritual, 100% divinity, 100% physical humanity. So they sent Chanuk to petition for them so that they can go back. And Yahuah got even more angry. He said, how can an immortal person, an immortal being, send an immortal being before me? It was like a disrespect to Yahuah. So Yahuah said, I know you're going back. I'm releasing you to go back on earth, but I don't want you to communicate with them. I want to give you a very deep revelation that people are ignoring. Because the Bible, the word of Yahuah is all about details. So you miss a small detail, you miss the whole point. So when he was sent back, Yahuah made him deaf, and not deaf. He could not speak. So when he came back, he could not send the message. He became a stammerer. He could not speak. He could not communicate because they were in codes. For him to bring the codes, they wanted to access to the place where Yahuah is. So for them to get the access and petition for Yahuah, what Yahuah has spoken to him, Yahuah made him, he could not speak now. He was dumb. So he couldn't communicate with the fallen Malakim. And I'll give you another revelation. Enoch came back as Musa. Musa and Enoch is one person. If you don't know this is the truth, the book of Enoch, the person who discovered the book of Enoch was Musa who was handed over to by the Median priest. The Median priest had the original script of the first world, but he was not the right custodian. He waited for the time, but he didn't know that it was Musa who was supposed to be given that thing. So by coincidence, they met and he handed over the script to the right owner. So Chanuk came back as Musa because he was also a stammerer. Yeah, look at this. Look at this comparison. We are going back to our topic, but this is very important for the foundation. Look at this comparison. Chanuk used to go to meet Yahuah face to face, and they speak, and come back with the glory. He used to live in isolation for so many days. Look at the life of Musa. Musa used to meet Yahuah face to face at a very secret place. They used to speak like mouth to mouth, face to face. And he used to isolate himself. And he was a stammerer. He could not speak to the people. Look at this now. He could not speak to the people directly. Who? Pharaoh. Who is Pharaoh in the Bible? Pharaoh is a representation of a fallen angel, a fallen Malakim. So Musa could not come and speak to the Pharaoh because he was stammerer. He could not speak. But he used somebody else. He used Aaron. Now look at the connection. Enoch, Chanuk could not speak directly to these people. What did he do? He obligated the duty to know to who? To Noah. He waited for Noah to come because he was the father, great-grandfather of Noah. So he waited for Enoch to be born. Then he transferred the knowledge to him. And that's why Noah was able to destroy all the Malakim, because what Chanuk brought from Shamahim was judgment to these people. It was not good news that they were waiting for. And he could not pronounce the judgment. So he had to hand it over to somebody else. Musa the same. He has the judgment to the Pharaoh. Pharaoh, who is a representation of a fallen Malakim. Now he cannot communicate to Pharaoh. He has to speak through Aaron. So it is a repeat of scenario. And Yahweh is trying to give us records of the past through his life. And people are not so keen to study that. And that's why we are different. We are unique because we go to the details, the nitty-gritties. We are the ministry of clarification. So we have to give it 100% legitimacy and details, because the scripture is all about details. So now we understand that. So all these cults that you see around, they are divided into 200 sects. There are 200 heads. Okay, these 200 have branches also. And that's why they seem as many. But they're supposed to be 200. And then extra 3. 3 is now for authority, where Lucifer, Hasatan, and the devil. Those are 3 different entities. Lucifer is different from Satan. And Satan is different from the devil. They were in different levels. Lucifer, the world is calling Lucifer or Venus. They taught us about Venus in school, that Venus is a bright star that appears it's a planet or something. They used to tell us, usually when you see that star, that's a planet. That's a lie. There is no other planet that Yahuah created apart from the earth and the heavens. It is only this and that. It is only this. Down, there is one, underground, underworld, and then we have the skies and the Shamahim. So Venus is actually the star of Lucifer. I want to give another revelation. Yahuah created 3 sons. He had 3 sons. Number 1 son that he created, not the one he gave birth to. There is one that he gave birth to. That's why Yahusha, we remove Yahusha from this conversation, because he is special. He's the only begotten. It means he is born of the Spirit. The Father gave the seed to the Spirit, and the Spirit delivered a son. So for him it's different, because he is the son of the Most High, Yahuah, and that's why he bears his name. In fact, he doesn't have his name. He bears the identity of the Father. Yahusha means Yahuah is salvation. It means even the Son does not have his own name. He has the name of the Father. The name of the Father is the name of the Son. Okay? So Yahuah created, yes.
All right, so now, as usual, you said a whole lot. You said a whole lot. And I can tell you right now, if anyone is still listening, because most people, they don't listen past 5 minutes. If they're still listening, they're like, okay, what does this have to do with Masons? What does this have to do with the Divine Nine? What does this have to do with Eastern Stars? They're asking that question. I thought we were going to be talking about the origin of where this stuff come from. Prophet, you got to connect the dots.
Yes, yes. Yeah, exactly. That's why this is the foundation. Now I'm coming. I've already mentioned the 200 fallen Malachim. Those 200 is important because all the cults came from this 200. Because they came with different symbols and different signs. If you look at the signs of this, the symbols and the signs that these occults and cults are using today, they're exactly the same signs and symbols the fallen angels came with. Every fallen Malachim and symbol, they had symbols and signs. Because symbols and signs are very powerful in the spiritual world. They mean something. They bring some force and some powers. You cannot operate with them without them. And that's why even us, as the Nazarene, we have a sign. And our symbol is the menorah, the light. The 7 lampstand. That is our symbol. Because it carries all the celebration and all our lives. So we also have our symbol. Our symbol is the symbol of menorah, which is the 7 lampstands. It represents the 7th spirit of Yahuah. It represents the 7 fruits of Ruach HaKodesh, the spirit of truth. So all this fallen Malachim, the 200 that fell, they came up with the signs and symbols, and everybody called themselves different. That's why you see, these cults, they do the same thing, but they have different names. But at the end of the day, they're directed to the same thing. You can see there is something they share. For example, homosexuality, drug abuse, rape, corruption. They are found in all this. There's some that eat babies. Some that don't know do what. But you see, they do the same thing. If you look at them entirely, you'll see that they're doing the same, they're engaging the same things. And everything they're engaging are illegal. If they're not illegal, maybe, but they are unlawful before Yahuah. They are corruption according to the laws of Yahuah. So they created another law apart from the law of Yahuah. So they also have rules and regulation. So they counter, and that was called Babylon. So all the cults, it doesn't matter the name they're calling themselves. All that is called Babylon. Why Babylon? Because the first world ended, and Noah did not finish his mission on the first world. So you can see the Bible says that the fallen Malachim were destroyed, and the Nephilims, the sons they gave birth using the women, were also destroyed by the water. But their spirit were not destroyed. They were trapped. So if they're trapped by it, it means the spirit can also speak. For example, if you are in jail today, if somebody happens that somebody goes to jail today, you can go and visit them, okay? Sometimes they can call from the cells. Yeah? You can visit them. You cannot get them out, but you can visit them. There's hours that you can visit them. They can make phone call to you that you will pay, but they make phone call to you anyways. So it means there is a way they can communicate to the outside world even if they're in jail. Because whatever happens on earth is a model of what is happening in the spiritual world. We are just copying what is in the spirit. Whatever we're doing in the physical has already happened in the spirit. So these cults are in 200 faces plus some extra, okay, of course, because of the chief demon, Lucifer, is called Hellel in Hebrew. It's called Hellel in Hebrew. So this is what forms what we call the cults of today. They're according to the patterns and the doctrines of the 200 fallen Malachim. For example, Hollywood. The 200 demons are in Hollywood already. And you'll find that Hollywood has 200 powerful heads. If you do your research, you'll find that Hollywood has 200 powerful heads. These 200 powerful heads are the people giving direction. They are the ones calling shots. And everybody, they have their specific role they are playing. They have their specific role they play. So these 200 heads are the what we call the representation of the 200 fallen Malakim. And these 200 heads have different types of cults. Those cults are different. Now, the foundation is Babylon. And who was the first occultic? The first occultic in the New World was Nimrod. And Nimrod had his wife, who was his mother, called
Wait a minute.
Semiramis.
Wait a minute, Prophet. Wait a minute. Before you do that, earlier you were talking about Lucifer being the Venus, which is the star. Who's Satan?
Yeah.
Who's Satan?
Now, that's a very powerful question. Lucifer is the head. If you read the book of Enoch, Chanuk, it'll give you all the details. It says that these were different entity. Lucifer was the early morning star, his name. I wanted to say something, but I forgot to mention it. Yahuah, I began, but I dropped it. Now, let me connect. Yahuah created 3 stars. He gave birth to one special star called the bright morning star. So, according to Yahuah, he had 3 sons. One was the bright morning star, who is Yahusha HaMashiach, the Messiah. Then we have Lucifer, who was the early morning star. His star is the one we call Venus. It comes out at around 12 in the midnight. You will see a star, a single star, very bright one. They call it Venus. So this Venus is a representation star of Lucifer. The heavens already shows the star. And then we have the evening setting star. The evening setting star now is Adama. Why evening setting star? That is the moment Yahuah used to visit him at exactly 6 p.m. The Bible says that Yahuah used to come in the garden and have a fellowship with Adama. They had a fellowship. So this fellowship, he only came in the evening because that was according to the codes of spirituality. That was his time. It was assigned for him. And that's why it is said, Yahusha said, even if you are angry with somebody, let not the sun fall when you are still angry. Because you are closing your day and you are closing it with authority. Don't close it with sickness and sadness and bitterness. Because it will affect your tomorrow. At your moment, at your prime moment, let nothing disrupt the glory that you have. Because at that moment, there is a malakim, there is an angel taking care of that time. So when you find you in your right position, he's going to give you the Baruch that Yahuah sent him with. The information that Yahuah has given him, he will give it to you at that time because Yahuah visit people. He used to visit Adama at 6 p.m. in the evening. So when you are right with Yahuah, when you're filled by the Spirit of Yahuah, he will visit you every 6 p.m. The fellowship still continues. But now it is spiritual. It is not physical as before. Because we lost that privilege. The day we fell, we lost the glory of Yahuah. Because if when Yahuah appears to us today, we shall die. Example, if you go to the book of Daniel, yes.
Wait a minute. I know you're ready to explode. I see that. I just want us to stay on point, and I promise to let you just keep exploding. So we got Lucifer, we got Satan, and we have the devil. And you said those are 3 distinct and different persons, correct? So we got Lucifer as Venus. Who is Satan and who's the devil?
Satan was serving as the head of the altar. He was in charge of architectural work.
Architectural?
Now that's good. Architectural work. So that's why we are talking about the Masons.
Okay. That's where I want us to go. Wait a minute. That's where I wanted to go. Hold
now,
that thought.
Yes.
So Satan is the head of architecture. Did I hear that right?
Yes,
And
yes.
is it safe to say, that the
Mm-hmm.
origins of D9, that the origins of Freemasons, that the
Mm-hmm.
origins of Masons, and that the origin of Eastern Star derive directly from Satan, who is the head
Yes,
architect?
yes,
Okay, that's where
yes.
I want you to go. And then who is the
Mhm.
devil?
The devil now was in charge of the altar of Yahuah, the altar of worship. And that's why we have devil worshippers. You've heard something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Because he was exactly the head of, Lucifer dealt with the heads. He was going to every department and trying to turn them against Yahuah. So he managed to capture heads. There's a lot of heads that he took away. So one of the heads was Hashatan, who was in charge of architectural design. And that's why you see USA, America, is number one in architectural design, the best in the world. Why? Because Satan is in charge.
So who are the three
Unfortunately.
sons? Who are the three
Yes.
sons?
The three
You
sons of,
mentioned that there are three sons of Yahuwah. Who are the three sons?
yeah, I mentioned three sons of Yahuah. I said Yahusha is called the bright morning star. You
Hmm?
had three stars. Like Revelation says the stars are angels, okay? The
Hmm?
spiritual beings, they call stars. So yeah, he created exactly three stars. So there's one that he gave birth to, comes number one. He is the preeminence, he is the leader, is everything, is the privilege, because he's Yahuah, son, the son of Yahuah. He is the bright morning star. That is Yahusha the Messiah. And we have early morning star. Early morning star is Lucifer. And that's why I gave you something. I said Venus, the star called Venus, is actually the Greek name, translation name for Lucifer. But the Hebrew call him Helil. So Helil, the star appears in the midnight. And I'll give you this example. When Christmas is about, the Catholic Church normally instruct people to come out. If you go to those churches at that time, on 24th night, they will tell you now, exactly at 12, everybody should be out. And when you come out, you'll see a star. I have seen it before as a kid. And they tell you now that's the star of the Messiah. The Messiah is being born. This is a star that was given to the three wise men to follow.
But
You see
that's
how confusion
incorrect.
with
Yeah, but that's
yes, that's what
incorrect
they do.
because you're talking about Lucifer at that point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so now let me throw this out. So what I understand with the Masons is that
Mm-hmm.
they in within their studies they talk
Mm-hmm.
about the great architect.
Yes,
So
yes.
let me make sure I have this clear. Are you saying to the
Mm-hmm.
audience right there
Mm-hmm.
in plain sight that
Mm-hmm.
Masons, whether they call themselves Freemasons or Masons,
Mm-hmm.
that they are openly worshiping the architect of the
Mm-hmm.
universe, which
Yes.
the other name for the architect of the universe is Satan, Hashatan.
Ashatan. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So
And this is a
I
symbol of
noticed,
Ashatan.
and they usually have like yeah, they have yeah, they have
You've seen it?
the compass, and they have the G, and
Mhm.
so really it's
They
right
have
there.
the
It's not
compass.
even a secret. So it's not even a secret.
Yes.
It's right there in plain
It's no longer
sight.
secret. Mm.
When it says that people will have eyes to see and they won't even see it, they'll have ears and they won't hear it, and they have a heart won't even understand it. Wow.
So that's what's happening actually. It's really deep.
Mhm.
So that's it. It is Hashatan, it's satanic. And Satan
Mhm.
has a symbol, I told you. So every cult, if you find every cult, the different cults have different symbols.
Mhm. Oh
So for
well,
Satan,
let
this
me
is it.
say this. So sometimes you see the uh, the compass in the square. Sometimes it has an I
Mhm.
in it, like the dollar bill,
Yes, yes,
and
yes.
sometimes there's a G. So that from my
Mm.
understanding, the G inside the compass in the square is the god of geometry.
Yeah, it's
The
also
I
gay.
The I is who? It's also who?
Gay. Gay.
Spell that
Gay.
for me.
Gay.
Okay.
Gay.
Women, what are you saying?
Yeah, it is what it
What are
is.
you
That's what those
saying?
skulls. Yes, the G is not only for geometry, it's for gayism. So when you
Okay.
enter into those skulls, if you can ask these people privately, and maybe those who have gone deeper, there's some people, they're still, it's being revealed. They're being taken by classes step by step. But there's people who are inside, one way or the other, they involve in homosexuality activity.
Now you
Because
know
that is
what?
what.
You just lost the audience. You just lost the audience because you know what? Now, let me say this. Let me say this to you. So in America, they've been putting up documentaries. I've even read people comments to these documentaries. So I don't know these people. They're out in in the documentaries, short videos on TikTok, YouTube. But I've read the comments, and some people who have their face hidden, they got a screen name, so you don't know who it is. They will say that, and I'm skipping a little bit, and I'm going to make the connection. They will say in those D9 that they have been known in their hazing to pimp people out, like prostitution.
Mhm.
Um,
Mm.
Sometimes the men have been sodomized.
Mm.
Um, like one person was saying in the comments that their cousin was very handsome and he was trying to cross over the burning sands. Okay, that's what they call it. Same thing that the
Mm.
Masons say, cross the burning sand.
Mm.
I'm trying to make a parallel here to everyone that's listening. And I do
Mm.
want to say this to you, Prophet. What you're saying is all the way on this level, way up. And I'm trying to bring it down. And I know that's hard to do because you know so much about this. I'm trying to bring it down where a child can say, "Oh my, when I do these oaths," by the way, they take them out the Bible and they change the words around. When I do these oaths to this organization, what am I really giving an oath to? And they're giving an oath to the great architect, which comes under different names: Zeus, Gad, which we say God, God,
Mhm. Mhm.
Gadriel,
Kahoot. Mhm.
Daoud, Zeus, Minerva, which is supposed to be about education and wisdom. Please forgive me, folks that are listening, if I didn't get that one right. Apollo for the
The
Kappas.
Greek mythology. Mm.
A lot of Greek mythology. The letters. Just and people that are listening, I want you to understand why I'm trying to make a parallel. I'm not trying to be rude and cutting the prophet off, but I don't want us to get taken into something else. Because prophet, what you're saying, it really requires a classroom study, not a YouTube video, but a classroom
Mm.
study where people have a pen and a sheet of paper and they're writing some things
Mm.
down. This is deep study. Um, but I'm trying to make a parallel that although these gods and the Greek lettering, they all are the same thing. This is the
Mm.
foundation. And anything that is Greek is tied to Babylon.
Yes,
People that are
yes.
listening, you have to understand this. It may not have the same name. You may be saying, well, I know the Masons can definitely say the great architect. They do say it, they use it, it's in their symbol, or the god of geometry, it's in their symbol. I know people have heard of Minerva, it's in their symbol. Delta is in their symbol. Um, Apollyon, which also is the name of a demon. A lot of people don't know that. Such as Demetrius and things like that. Those are demons. So now, in Abari, what we would say to a person that don't know ancient Hebrew, but in Abari is the correct term. There are letters that we have that mean something. Well, guess what Greek did? They have letters that mean something too. And you're taking on these Greek letters to your organization, not realizing that you're taking on meaning. You're taking on a meaning. So the same way we who are the Nazarene, who are Abrith, let me put it that way, our letters mean something. And see, people that join these things casually, this is what they tell them. I'm so tired of people saying we're devil worshipers. We're not devil worshipers. We're not taking these crazy oaths. I go to church. My pastor is a Mason. My pastor is a Kappa. My pastor is a Omega Psi Phi, however you say it. My pastor is this. I'm a Sigma. I'm a Gamma. I'm this. I'm that. And we serve Jesus and we love him and we pray and we do good works in the community and we do this. This is what they're saying. And because the pastor or the bishop is in that, they say, well, this person is a man of God, a woman of God. First of all, they don't even realize saying God is wrong. But I'm telling you, in America, that's what goes on in the church, especially in the Black church. But we're seeing this in the white churches too, same thing. The pastor is a Mason, the deacon is a Mason, the bishop is a Mason, the wife is an Eastern Star. And then they'll use the Eastern Stars, they'll use biblical names such as Ruth and Esther and things like that to say, no, this is biblical. So prophet, what I'm seeing is that people are taking, they don't really understand the origin of where this come from. And they taking what they think that is godly and holy, which godly and holy are not even words that we supposed to use either. That's another subject. And they're slapping what they think is the Messiah's name on top of what they're doing, saying, see, we pray at our chapter meeting. When we have a chapter meeting, we start our meeting with prayer. Why would you think that this is demonic? No, you're shaking your head. I'm telling you what has been said to me. I'm telling you what people say on the internet. I'm telling you, this is what they're saying. People are thinking because a prayer is said, because their oaths is about love and doing good works. How could this be demonic? How could this not be right?
That's powerful. Now, you're on point. And we have said clearly that Hashatan, aka Satan, is the founder of all the Freemason. Why? Because he was in charge of the building, architectural design. So they are called the Seraphim. So he was the head of Seraphim. Seraphim are people are in charge of. That's why you see Yahusha is saying, I'm going to my father. And there are many mansions there. So who was in charge of building those mansions? There's an angel in charge of that. So when if we fell down, another person was it's like a military. When one gets out, the deputy takes over. So Yahusha, that sector, that department or that office was taken over by another person. But the head of architectural design, who is Hashatan, fell alongside Lucifer. And that's what we see in those buildings, the architectural design, there is a pyramid. Even the structure of how people build their houses today. People build their houses and the roof are like this. They're pyramid. The roofs are pyramid, but they don't understand why they do that. It is the pattern of the Egyptian. And that's why you see black people, especially the people call themselves Hebrew, Abarahim. We are not supposed to go in those cults because they don't belong to us. That is a white man curse. It is not our thing. Because the people who began this occultism and cultism are the sons of Ham, not the son of Sham. The foundation was Nimrod. Nimrod was the son of Ham. And now we know the sons of Ham were from North Sudan. That is their home. That's where they live. The darkest people on earth. Those are the sons of Ham, the Nubians, the Ethiopians, all those groups. Part of the Somalians, and you say. Those are, and they're scattered all over the world. So wherever they go, if you find those ones who are corrupt, even though some of the sons of Ham are very wonderful. They repented the sins of their father and they're living a different life. They took on upon, I want to give you an example. When Musa was living ancient Egypt, Mizraim, Sudan North, he left not only with the Yashar'al, but he also left with some Egyptians, sons of Ham. Why? Because they converted into the faith. They agreed to enter into the covenant with the sons of Yashar'al. And it was said, whoever wants to be part of you must be circumcised if he's a man. And they accepted to be circumcised. Before they were not circumcised. So they were circumcised. And they took the covenant. They became part and parcel of the Yashar'al. So when they left with others. And that's what I'm telling you, not every son of Ham is evil today. Some of them have converted into wonderful people. They're helping the Yashar'al to achieve their dreams. They are pushing, they're supporting. They are good citizens because they have denounced the ways of their father. The culture that was demonic, they have denounced. Some of them are reading the Bible. They are studying, and they are always speaking to them in different levels of life. You feel me? So the people who began Freemasonry on the New World are the sons of Ham. You must be very clear about that. Who was the first son of Ham was this man called Nimrod. So he's the one who built up the new Babylon. Now the first Babylon. And Babylon means against, that which is against the will of Yahuah. And one of the foundations of the Babylon was the pyramid with an eye. So there was the eye of Tammuz, the son of Nimrod. And then later, the Egyptians, the Mizraim, the North Sudanese, and those group of people, the pharaohs, they adopted the culture of Nimrod. And that's why you see the people like Osiris as the father, the mother Isis, or later Semiramis, and in between the sun we call Horus. So there's an eye of Horus. In every pyramid there's an eye of Horus. It means it is just as a building. It's a building that its foundation is demonic. It's the foundation of fallen Malakim. It's the foundation of the rebellious people, the souls that rebel against Yahuah, who created another law. So they brought something, they corrupted the law of Yahuah. Now you see, all the mansion, the Freemason, if you look at their structure, it's like a church structure. All of them. And the biggest mansions on earth, the Freemasons, are found in Vatican. Vatican is known for architectural design. And the Americans borrowed from Rome. And they became the number one in the world in terms of architectural design. Because the headquarters where Hashatan was jailed is USA, Washington. That's where the coordinate is. And that's why you see
you know what else is interesting? The Vatican is also interpreted as hills of devil.
Yes.
A lot of people
True.
don't know that.
So yes, true. And that's why you see the same structure in Vatican. It is the same structure in Washington. The same structure is in Germany. All these foundations, find them the same architectural design because they belong to one person, the head, who is Hashatan. So Hashatan is the owner of all the cult and the occultic in the earth. And the Mason, they began as Masons. Masons were builders, and builders were known to come from Egypt, ancient Egypt. So those are the first. So the first people to embrace occultism were black people, but the sons of Ham. So now the Europeans, who are the sons of Edom, the sons of Esau, now took everything, borrowed exactly everything. When they fall, when the black man fell, son of Ham, who is Nimrod, who fall, he fell. The son of Esau took his place. They inherited everything. And that's why you see all those cults are formed according to the culture of the Greeks. Because it is no longer now the affair of the black people. it was taken from black people. It was transferred into the Europeans, into the sons of Esau. And that's why the sons of Yakub, the sons of Yashar'al, cannot be part of such an arrangement. We cannot be part of it because, first of all, it is not even ours by inheritance. We are not even supposed to be there because it is not our thing. Somebody else has carried the curse. So we are not supposed to be part of it. If it is fairness, then white people are supposed to do their thing. So our brothers are lost. They think they can belong. And if you look at those cults, you'll find that the people who are powerful in those cults are not even African people.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, let me say this. I've heard people say when it comes to the divine nine, they are referred to as the boule here, or gatekeepers. Gatekeepers for the white supremacists, gatekeepers for the Caucasians that are higher up in the secret societies.
Yes.
And you know, even
That's true.
movies, even movies kind of make reference to that. Like, can't think
Yes.
of one of those movies I was looking at. Idris Elba, he was the gatekeeper. He was standing there with the sword. He couldn't go no higher than that position. And when I look at black people in fraternities and sororities, I look at them and I shake my head. I'm like, you're a gatekeeper. And not only that, a lot of them function. They don't realize it, but a lot of them function as gatekeepers to keep other black people from climbing up the social ladder, which
Yes.
is really
True.
sad. It's really sad.
Yeah,
You have
yeah,
to
true.
you have to join my organization and do some crazy stuff, you know, and say some oaths that totally go against the word. Let me share this with you, and then we're gonna wrap up. We definitely got to do a part two because there's no way we can do it all at one time. Oh, let me see here. I want to say Deuteronomy 6:13. I'm gonna get that from my Sefer Bible. And those of you listen, you'll always hear me use a Sefer or Yahuah and Scriptures translation. Those are the two, and the Sefer is not 100% correct, just so you know. But it is more accuracy in the Sefer than it is in the King James, just so you know.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the reason why we use a Sefer or Yahuah in Scriptures is because Yahuah, which is the Most High, his name has been restored. He is our Eloah. So we don't say Lord. He is our Eloah. So Deuteronomy 6, and I'm waiting for my thing to load up. I like to use my phone. You can get Sefer Bible app actually put onto your phone. It says in Deuteronomy 6:13, you shall fear Yahuah and serve him, and shall swear 7 oaths by his name. So we're not going to call on Zeus. We're not going to call on the God of geometry. We're not going to call on the all-seeing eye. We're not going to call on Hashatan, which is the head architect. We're not going to do that. I'm going to give you another one. I just want to, because some people say, well, I want scriptures. And I think that's unfortunate that, you know, people will say, I want scriptures, and they're just too lazy to study for themselves. It's just too lazy. They want you to give them scriptures. They don't want to never look it up for themselves. In Exodus 20:3, it says, you shall have no other Elohim before me. And it really should say Eloah. You should have no other before me. Okay? So when we're doing these oaths, you have to think about who you're calling on. And in James, the 5th chapter, in the 12th verse, and it's so sad. I know so many pastors that are Masons. It's just terrible. And their wives are Eastern Stars. It says in Yahuah, which is James 5:12, it says, above all things, my brethren, swear not falsely, neither by heaven, neither by earth, neither by any other oath, but let your yea be yea and your nay, nay, lest ye fall into condemnation. I do know for a fact, and those of you that are listening, that are thinking about it, you also know that you do, in the Masonic Lodge, as well as the D9, you do have to ask someone to take you out of darkness and bring you into the light. That is a part of the initiation. Don't lie to yourself and say it doesn't mean that. Yes, it does mean that. You're asking a human being who is being directed by the head architect, which is Hashatan, known as Satan, to take you from a position of darkness into light. And we know that the Messiah is the light, not the 33rd degree Mason, not the 32nd degree Mason, not the most worshipful master. In the Masonic Hall, they call someone the most worshipful master. In the D9, they have something that's equivalent to that. I'm trying to show a parallel here. Let's go to Ephesians 5:11. I want to leave everyone with scriptures before we check out of here. Ephesians 5:11. It says, "Be ye therefore followers," "and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them." We are not to be going to another human being and asking them to take us out of darkness and bring us into light. Only our Father is capable and able to do that because he created us. Okay, we are offsprings of what he created. Let me make that clear. We have to be very careful. I once heard a person that denounced being in a sorority. She said that if you talk to most people that have been in the D9, they will tell you, they will get upset and say, we don't do none of that stuff you're talking about. That's some chapters. So some of them will acknowledge, you know what, we don't do that. That's other chapters. This chapter is about God is the center of our chapter. We don't do so. So there's an acknowledgement from some of them. They will tell you, well, we don't do what that's certain chapters. Certain chapters do hazing, and certain chapters do, have people sleep with other people, and certain chapters, do these things. We don't do that. We start all of our chapter meetings with prayer. And that makes it right for them. And so I was listening to a young lady, and she said, that was in the D9, and she said, if you talk to most people about what the initiation was, half of them don't even remember it. She said, why? Because we're casting spells. She said, you're not going to remember everything that you did during your initiation. But listen to this. When they're initiating, they are brought to an altar. They have to go to an altar. So anyway, I'm going to leave on that note. Thank you so much for viewing Yahuah's Remnant Assemblies International Ministry here with Nabi Wamungo, which means prophet. Me, Minister Akinyi. We are definitely going to do a part 2 and a part 3 because we have to really go back to the foundation. Prophet was getting into that, and I was like, wait a minute, slow down. Because I know I want, yeah, you have to remember that we have to teach it as if the person has never heard any words in their entire life.
Yeah.
And we have to teach it. You have to remember, prophet, in America, people say Lucifer, Satan, and devil is the same person, and they teach that. There's so much error in our churches here, and I'm sure there's error where you are too, so much error. So until next time, our next broadcast, shalom.
Shalom.
All right, thank you so much. I will see you on the next one.